Hello everyone. So now we will talking about na retributive justice. So before we get started, I just want to introduce myself first formally and my in this group 1. So my name is Enrique Estrellado, Joshua Botor, Jessica Timon, Geneva Salindayao, Franco, Teodo, Bustamante, Arellano, Rodriguez, Valdez, and last is Usman. So now, retributive justice. Definition: the retributive justice is defined as a form of justice that is committed to giving wrongdoers punishment that are proportionate to their crimes. So once na magkamali ka, so you have a punishment, no? So retribution meaning repayment. So pagbabayad comes from the old French retribution, and also directly from Latin word retributinum, meaning recompense. So, kabayaran. Repayment. The root Latin word retribution means I pay back. So, binabayaran. So, once na, halimbawa, nakalaya ka na, so, babayad ka. Modern use has restricted the word that meaning evil given to evil done is that belief that individuals should receive what they deserve according to their action. So once na nakagawa ka ng crime, so you have to deserve punishment. Retribution law is therefore defined as a law system that is focused on retributive justice as the main method of resolving case. So ito na yung pinaka-definition niya para ma-solve yung case, isang pagbabayad. So now, we will next the retribution criminal justice. So ano ba ang nangyayari? Retribution in criminal justice has play major role in the use of punishment as a form of case resolution. This form of justice was expired and detailed by 18th century by Immanuel Kant, who believed that his retributive theories of justice were ecological and reasonable. He argued the punishment by the coercion of force is key in establishing justice and effectively punishing criminals in order to prevent future crimes. According to Kant, punishment by the court is ineffective. It focuses on promoting same good to the criminal and the community, and it's necessary for the punishment to emphasize the act that a crime has been committed. This theory of justice places emphasis of seeking justice for what the criminal has done rather than achieving some other goal. So that's the retribution of criminal justice.
Good day, ma'am. Good day, classmates. I'm Joshua S. Botor, and I'm here to discuss the second part of presentation, which is about origin of retributive justice. Retributive justice has existed for centuries in justice systems, with one of the first recorded instances occurring in the Law of 12 Tables drafted by Roman judges in 451-450 BCE. This law signaled the end of private justice and brought about a system of restitution, paying back the victim accordingly. After the fall of the Roman Empire, private justice made a resurgence until the early 7th century. This system also used restitutive processes until Henry I in 1116 redefined offenses as crimes against the king's peace rather than against the victim. This paved the way for the prolonged use of retributive justice in the West. 18th century writer and philosopher Immanuel Kant employed the theory of retributive justice, supporting the theory during the height of its use. So, retributive justice has been a part of legal system for many years. One of the earliest examples may be found in the law of the 12 tables, which Roman judges drafted around 451 450 BCE. With the passage of this law, private justice was abolished and a system of just and adequate victim compensation was established. Private justice experienced a comeback with the fall of the Roman Empire up until the early 7th century, until Henry I, or tinatawag na Henry Buckler, was King of England from 1100 to his death in 1135. Siya ang pang-apat na anak ni William the Conqueror and was educated in Latin and the liberal arts. Henry I recla- reclassified crimes in 1116 as crimes against the king's peace rather than crimes against the victim. This institution also employed reparative procedures. Reparative, mas epektibo or maisaayos. At dahil dito, ito ang naging daan para sa matagal na paggamit ng retributive justice. Sa kanluran, sinaliksik ng manunulat at pilosopo noong 18th century na si Immanuel Kant ang teorya ng retributive justice, supporting the theory during the height of this use. Next is the root word of retribution is tribution. In Latin, this means I pay back and has a similar meaning to paying a debt that it's owed. When retributive justice is applied, a type of retribution, a criminal in essence pays his or her debt to society and suffers some type of punishment in return. Yun lang po ng akin. Next reporter na po. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Jessica Timon, and this is the continuation of origin of contributive justice. So, according to this slide, retributive justice is a principle in ancient times requiring proportionate punishment at the same level as the crime. Just like example in biblical mention include just like eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. And according to Immanuel Kant, he believed that punishment should be based on retribution. And according to this slide, retribution derived from Latin tribution refers to paying back a debt where a criminal pays their societal debt and receive punishment in return.
Retributive justice seeks to punish a person for a crime in a way that is seen as compensatory for the crime. This type of justice system will often use imprisonment, loss of property, and even loss. It means this is if what is the uh, person committed a crime, it seems like what is punished to her. Then no one to taking someone property because he have a punishment to taking the property to others. Retributive justice is response to criminal behavior that focuses on the punishment of lawbreakers and the compensation of victims. So it means this sentence is if the person is committed a crime, uh, it is how to handle and what is to give her the punishment to applicable her crime was committed. Then is the focuses of the people and how to crime committed and what the crime was committed the person.
Good day, my name is Mark Jomer S. Franco from BS Criminology 3E, and I'm here to present with you the retribution justice and the basis of how to develop this justice. Retribution was the first utilized as a philosophy of justice, although it appears in many religions. It is mentioned in a number of religious sources, including the Bible and the Quran. For example, in the Christian narrative, Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden because they broke God's rule and thus deserve to be punished. Many Christians believe that sinners will face the burning afterlife as a result of their misdeeds. The Quran discusses God's vengeance for disobedient of wicked people. In selection about those who reject belief in Allah, Allah is expressly addressed as the Lord of Retribution. The Buddhist Dhammapada describe retribution as a result of wrongdoing, and the Hindu associates revenge into negative karma. With that briefly history of retribution justice, we can say that there's an existing punishment among the sinners. Even the Bible even the Bible says that they punish the person who commits crime. That's why in 18th century there's a person named Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher and Enlightenment era thinker. He developed a theory of retribution based on logic and the reason. Immanuel Kant is also considered as the father of retribution justice. In Kant's view, the only purpose punishment should serve is to penalize the criminal for committing a crime.
Good day everyone, my name is Zaime Algahudo from BS Crim 3. I am here to discuss retributive justice ethics. Retributive justice is a manner of giving those who violate human rights law and commit crimes against humanity their just desserts. Punishment is thought to reinforce the rules of international law and to deny those who have violated those rules an unfair advantage. Meaning, retributive justice in the context of international law and crimes against humanity aims to ensure that those who violate fundamental human rights face consequences commensurate with their actions. It serves as a means to reinforce the rules of international law and prevent individuals from benefiting unfairly from their wrongdoing. However, the effectiveness and ethical implications of this approach continue to be topics of debate within the realm of global justice.
Purpose of retributive justice. 1. Punishment. According to retributive justice, offenders should be punished in a manner that appropriate to the harm they have caused because it balances scale of justice. This penalty regarded as a moral need. For example, it's the fact of the individual has committed a wrongful act that justify punishment, and that the punishment should be proportional to the wrong committed. Number 2, accountability. It's placed a strong emphasis on making sure that people are held responsible for their action and that they have faced repercussion as the result. For example, a corporation na violating environmental regulation could be face a finance and legal repercussion. 3. Deterrence. Although is not the main objective, retributive justice may deter a potential criminal because of threat of punishment may dissuade the criminal action. An example of specific deterrence is when you get pulled over the speeding and are issued a ticket. 4. Closure to provide the victim and their families as a feeling of closure of by seeing the criminal punished from their misdeeds. For example, closure when a criminal sentenced to prison from a violent crime, providing victim and their families with a sense of accountability and justice. Moral rights. According to someone supported punishment is ethical acceptable since it preserves society ideals and the idea that people should be held accountable for their decision.
Good day everyone, I'm Jean Grace Valdez and I will continue the discussion about punishment fits the crime. Officials who practice retributive justice are called retributivists, and they believe that this type of justice is a means to an end. So it's said that if authoritarian person or officials are responding to criminal behavior that focusing on the punishment of lawbreakers and the compensation of victims, they are called retributivists. Like when people murder, they indicate that their beliefs the others should do this to them. And this is when retributive justice comes to give them the punishment they want. Since biblical times are no longer upon us, for the most part of modern Western, society does not reward person eye or pull tooth from his mouth in exchange for the same thing. A different cause is applied. So before, in biblical times, they were punishing wrongdoers with harsher capital punishment like burning, stoning, hanging, crucifixion, scourging, prison time, and cutting off limbs. But it depends on what kind of crime they committed. But in our times, they are not doing this kind of punishment, but retributive justice, which is punishing wrongdoers based on what the crimes are committed, and using general principle to find justice for wrong and harm the wrongdoer did. Retributive justice is a system of criminal justice that focuses solely on punishment rather than deterrence, prevention of future crimes, or the rehabilitation of offenders. In general, retributive justice is based on the principle that severity of punishment should be in proportion to the seriousness of the crime committed. So when we say retributive justice, its only work is focusing on punishing wrongdoers but based on what kind of punishment is committed using general principles.
I'm Janet Rodriguez and I will discuss the continuation of the punishment that fits the crime. This type of justice does not punish the innocent but only gives wrongdoers the punishment they deserve. So it only punishes the wrongdoers or criminals the punishment they deserve, and the punishment is equivalent to the crime they did. So if it is a higher violation or crime, it means their punishment is also higher, and if their crime committed was only a small violation, it means their punishment is also small. It also seen as a type of message to the criminal that what they did is wrong, and therefore society must reprimand them. This distinguishes it from fees and taxes which are used to discourage, not used to dispatch a punishment for a criminal act. So it is also served as a realization for the criminal that what they did is wrong, so they get punished. The next one is the person who practices retributive justice. So they are called the retributivists, and they believe that this type of justice is
ay means to an end. Since biblical times are no longer upon us, for the most part, modern Western does not remove a person's eye or pull a tooth from his mouth in exchange for the same thing. A different cause is applied. So, in this age, they do not follow the old kind of punishment to the criminals. Just like if you remove a tooth from someone, you will also your tooth will also get removed as a punishment. But in this retributive justice, a different punishment is applied to the crime that you did.
Good day, ma'am. I'm Neil Vincent Usman, and my part in this discussion is about retributive justice example. Example of retributive justice. One of the attributes of retributive justice is the capital punishment. If you killed or raped someone before way back 90s, you may receive the death penalty. Just like what happened to Leo Echegaray. Leo Echegaray will be put to death on February 5, 1999. According to the statement by Serafin Cuevas, the Secretary of Justice, on January 22, in 1994, Leo Echegaray received a death sentence for raping his stepdaughter. In response to an appeal by his attorneys, the Supreme Court decided at the last minute to postpone his execution until June 15 on January 4, 1999, preventing it from happening. The appeal's purpose was to allow him to gain from a congressional review of the 1993 law that reinstated the death penalty for heinous crimes like rape and murder. Despite the pleas from the human rights organizations, the Catholic Church, the European Union, President Estrada, the president at the time, has said he will not pardon Leo Echegaray. People are capable of doing crime. So we need to do a proactive cautions, just like conducting seminars for the students and parents also, to have a better environment, to hinder the idea of cruelty. The government should take a serious look at that. So that is my part. Thank you.
Key takeaways: Retributive justice. Retributive justice focuses solely on punishment rather than on prevention of future crimes or the rehabilitation of offenders. It is based on the premise suggested by Immanuel Kant that criminals deserve their just desserts. In theory, the severity of the punishment should be in proportion to the seriousness of the crime committed. Retributive justice has been criticized for giving into a dangerous desire for revenge. Lately, restorative justice is being suggested as an alternative to retributive justice.